But there are those who say, look, this is inherently offensive to African-American citizens in the state of Virginia who are being asked in this original proclamation to understand the sacrifices made by Confederate leaders, by Confederate soldiers, and by citizens. It says nothing about sacrifices which were forced upon enslaved, formerly Africans, enslaved black people. So
this is supposed to be a resolution, a proclamation sought for by our organization honoring the sacrifices of Confederates.
Right, but why should black citizens in the state of Virginia today be told that this is a month in which they should understand the sacrifices made by Confederate leaders and Confederate soldiers? You could understand why some black residents in the state of Virginia especially would say, what are you talking about?
Let me ask you something.
Thank you.
If we don't, and I'm sure this is the way my opponent here feels, should we not study Confederate history, which is an important part of American history? Because if we don't, then we'll be treating it like Russia. That's the way the Soviet Union did with history they didn't like.
Okay, well, let me just give you my answer, and then I'll let Roland give his answer. My answer is I have relatives who were Confederate soldiers. I have relatives who were Union soldiers. I have relatives buried in Confederate cemeteries in the state of Mississippi. I go and visit their graves. But that doesn't mean that you whitewash what the history was, what the cause was, and I think your critics are saying that that's what you're trying to do.
I think Governor McDonnell was writing a proclamation for our organization, and that's the approach he took. And he's changed it now because of the vitriolic opposition of people like Roland.
Roland, I want you to be able to respond.
No, and here's the problem. Your organization does not represent all Virginians. He is the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. That means whites, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, men, women, people who support Confederate veterans, and those who oppose them. When the governor makes this kind of decision, he has to make it for all of the people in that particular state. That is what's so offensive. No one, any right-thinking person, especially any African American, would not sit here and support the praise and celebration of a group of people who wanted to oppress their ancestors. So when you talk about your ancestors, trust me, mine were in chains, they were beaten, they were oppressed, they were degraded, families were broken up, and for you to say, well, they had to sacrifice, well, guess what? People with my skin color paid a significant sacrifice by dealing with the folks who you are supporting.
Well, I can say this, that I don't think that that you represent the feelings of all black people either.
I didn't say all black people, but I can tell you this here, Virginia had more slaves than anybody else. It was a state that was deeply embedded with the culture of slavery, and you can deny it, you can dress it up, but that was the whole point of the Civil War, and it is shameful that you cannot recognize the mistake that this governor has made by not even mentioning it, and then following up by saying it was not significant enough to mention it by saying there were other issues that he wanted to focus on. And then to pull tourism
there were plenty of other issues.
Give me a break. But what was the dominant issue? That's like Tiger Woods' wife said, I'm going to leave you because we can't communicate. No, you're leaving because he cheated. So stop trying to sit here and say there's other stuff. The dominant issue that cast a cloud over everything was slavery.
Mr. Bowling, I want to give you the final thought, and then we got to go.
No, I just, I totally disagree. I think there's a place to honor veterans, all veterans. And the Confederate veteran is a recognized American veteran by Congress, and he deserves full honor for the sacrifice he made.
I guess, though, the critics say, well, why not then have the month where Confederate, everyone who fought in the Civil War is recognized, where Confederate veterans, Union veterans.
Well, that's an easy one, because the Union Army invaded the South, and the Union Army killed thousands and thousands of Virginians.
Right, but there were plenty of Virginians who actually supported the Union and actually formed the state of West Virginia. And there's, to say that they invaded Virginia, there are those who would argue with you as part of the United States.
I think that's the prime motivating factor of the Confederate soldier, is the fact that they were invaded, they had to defend their homes and their families, and some of the things that the Union armies did when they were in Virginia by completely destroying the Shenandoah Valley, burning people's homes, stealing things. This is the way the Union Army behaved in every southern state, from the March to the Sea all the way through South Carolina, and it was shameful and degrading.
So were you offended when they destroyed Africans? Were you ashamed when they destroyed families, when they killed them, when they tortured them, when they murdered them? You sit here and talk about what the Union Army did? When the people the people you're supporting, they tortured and killed Africans who were slaves. And you're sitting here by saying, well, they invaded? Come on. Do you even see? Do you hear how you sound?
I think I sound perfectly rational. I'm giving you what happened.
No, I think you sound delirious when you can't even recognize how they destroyed human beings. This was a sin.
You're giving a perfect reason why this whole era needs a full study.
But Mr. Bowling, you're not.
Yes.
I just want to give you an opportunity to respond to what Mr. Martin said. I mean, you do recognize that slavery was inherently evil, and Africans who were brought over here were treated terribly.
I make no defense of slavery, but we live in 2010. We don't live in 1860, where slavery was a worldwide institution. It's a completely different place now.
And it was wrong then. And in the governor's statement, he even said, we need to recognize the times people lived in. I'm sorry, sir. I reject evil then, and I reject it now.